In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Imperial Jumptrooper for the 30th anniversary line from the Force Unleashed. So out of all the Force Unleashed action figures, unfortunately this one is probably the more disappointing one. They completely neglected the whole point of him being a Jumptrooper, and basically the action figure you're looking at is just a basic Stormtrooper with slightly different armor. But regardless, I still really like this guy. I think the detail on him looks really good. It's just a shame, I'll just point this out now, Hasbro completely neglected his jetpack. And he doesn't even have a peg on the back to where you could put a jetpack if you wanted to. So that pretty much defeats the whole purpose of him being a Jumptrooper. But with that aside, he's still really nice. Like I said, a lot of nice detailing. And he's just really cool looking. And I think he fits well with any Imperial collection. Fortunately, there was another release of a Jumptrooper later on, and I'll just bring him out now, which is far more accurate. And this one came in the Force Unleashed battle packs a couple years later. And as you can see, it's basically the same exact action figure, but this time Hasbro managed to give him his jetpack. And they give him more of an appropriate weapon. I do recall in the Force Unleashed game they had much more of a rifle, or at least a bigger rifle that is, compared to the E11 here. So it's nice for Hasbro to update that, and the paint looks really good. Paint looks really good on both of them. So as far as availability, he was only released in the 30th anniversary line. He did not get a Legacy Collection release. Despite that, he's not too hard to get a hold of. You probably find him for a decent price. If Juno is the easiest one to get a hold of, the Jumptrooper is probably the second easiest one to get a hold of. And a lot of that probably has to do with the fact he does not have the jetpack. So a lot of people were probably disappointed by that. One more thing I'll mention as well is I do recall seeing him at retail more than one time. Unfortunately, I did not get him at the time. I ended up, he was another one of those characters that I was just like, yeah, I'll get him later. Or I'll get him some other time. And even at that time, I thought it was kind of strange that, he Imperial Jumptrooper and they didn't even bother to give him a jetpack. Interesting. So I did get him, I think it was 2017 or 2018, and I think I only paid like $20 in free shipping for him. So not too bad. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this guy. So he's kind of a combination of a Stormtrooper and a Scout Trooper, I suppose. He has that visor there. But his helmet is kind of the shape of a Stormtrooper. Some extra things sticking out of it. And he kind of has some similarities to the Evo Trooper, which I do have right here. As you can see, they kind of share a lot of the same armor. And in fact, they pretty much do share the same armor, other than the breathing apparatus is a little bit different, and of course the helmet. I managed to give a pack to the Evo Trooper here, not the Jumptrooper. And there are some sculpting differences. As you can see, the Evo Trooper has these extra gadgets on his wrists there, while this one does not. The same goes for both sides there. And on the boots. So I really like that detailing they put on his boots there. You can tell he's seen some action. And it's mostly just cast in a dark gray and white. And thankfully he's a bright white. This hasn't really yellowed over the years. Looking at the other Jumptrooper here, you can see his helmet's, I wouldn't say yellowed, but it's certainly more of an off-white compared to the rest of his body there. And this Jumptrooper here definitely has a brighter white of a helmet compared to this one. He just has the one tube there for the breathing apparatus. I don't think that's... Oh, actually that is removable there, as you can see. So if you really wanted to, you can get your Evil Trooper, or Jump Trooper I should say, positioned in more ways than one without that restriction. And you can also pop it into place. And it looks like he has an extra breathing tube right here. Has the 2 thermal detonators. Like I said, no peg for his pack there. This one, it's on the side there. So in terms of articulation, he does have a ball joint at the head, and hinged shoulders and elbows. These ones actually go about 90 degrees, unlike the Evil Trooper here, for whatever reason. I guess the cut is just a little bit different, so that's interesting. He does have swivel wrists, swivel waist, swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles. In terms of weapons and accessories, he's very light on it. Hasbro just gave him the E11, which is not accurate to the game at all. And then, of course, he has his display base here. Expand Universe, Imperial Jumptrooper. And it fits on his foot perfectly well. So this guy here I'll do in a more depth review at some point whenever I get around to those battle packs. I do have all 3 of them, I think, that were released. There was the one with the Lord Star Killer, and then the Mandalorian Star Killer, and then the Raxus Prime Star Killer. And those are probably some of the best packs that Hasbro's ever made. What more can I say about the Jump Trooper here? Unfortunately, there's just not a whole lot to say. He's very cool. I really like him. It's unfortunate that Hasbro neglected his jetpack. I don't understand what happened there. Maybe there was a miscommunication or something happened in manufacturing. I don't know what. Well, you think somebody at Hasbro would have caught that and be like, hey, wait a minute, we're releasing a Jump Trooper and he doesn't even have his jetpack. Oh well, I'm happy for what he is, and I'm thankful that Hasbro did get around to re-releasing him eventually in another form, and this time with the jetpack. So I think the Black Series recently did a Imperial Jump Trooper. Doesn't quite look the same as this one, and it's based upon their appearance more from the newer Battlefront 2 game, I think. But it's nice to know that some form of the Imperial Jump Trooper is still gaining recognition. Regardless, it still would be very nice to get this particular version of him in the Black Series line. I think a lot of people really like that. And same for the Evil Trooper here. Both fantastic Stormtrooper designs, and unfortunately have been underutilized, I think. So it would be nice to see more of them in the future. So like I said, as far as price is concerned, I think he's more on the affordable side. You might be able to find one brand new for like $20 and free shipping, which to today's standards is not too bad. So if you do want an army building for your collection, I certainly think it's possible. And if you find one loose, you might be able to get it for even less. As for the other Jump Trooper here, if you are really wanting that one, unfortunately I think he's a little bit more on the pricey side, because it came with that battle pack and had less of a release. Plus he's probably going to be more in high demand because of he's much more accurate to how he appears in the game. But still, without the jetpack, getting this one I think is perfectly fine. He looks good as is. So anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will be lots more come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate your support. Check out the links in the description as well. Thanks for watching.